Mom's quick guide for core engagement for better posture and more energy. What does that mean? Basically, I'm going to talk to you about how does a poor core engagement or weak core muscles affect your posture and energy levels. Now, as an executive mom, you may be spending a lot of hours of your day balancing your work, family, endless responsibilities, really. And by mid afternoon, your shoulders may feel that ache, you may feel your energy levels going down, that lower back starts to feel tight, or you're struggling really to keep afloat, to feel energized and to carry on with your everyday activities. Now, you might assume it's just the stress of your busy schedule, but what if your core muscles play a bigger role than you realize in this whole scenario? So, your core isn't just about ab workouts or those shaped up abs. It's the foundation of how you sit, stand, and how you move throughout the day. So, when your core isn't properly engaged, or you do not recruit those core muscles or use those core muscles in the proper way that they're supposed to be used, it can affect your posture, your energy levels, even how much tension your body holds, right? So, when you feel that your body's all tense and stiff, it could be to do with your core muscles. Of course, that's not the only reason, but it is one of the main reasons. So let's discuss some more about how a poor core engagement, or basically how not using your core the way it's supposed to be, so improper use of your core muscles, affect your posture and your energy levels. Now, before I get into the topic for today, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Swati. I'm an executive mom power coach. I help moms of younger kids who work in high stress executive jobs to manage their spinal, that is back and neck, and nerve pain. And this is despite low energy levels and brain fog or lack of focus, or mommy brain as it sometimes is called. And I do so by giving you simple exercises, some easy lifestyle modifications, some tips and tricks that have helped me in my own pain and adrenal fatigue journey. Those who are familiar with adrenal fatigue know that it has a lot of symptoms. It is a very wide variety of symptoms, but the main ones that I had were lack of energy and lack of focus and low energy levels. So those are the ones that I talk about, because believe me, when you have those two, every single daily activity is difficult, not just managing your aches and pains. That's like next level altogether. Anyway, I do all of this without taking away a big chunk of your time, because hey, we're moms, we're busy people. So let's get into the topic for today. So how does a poor core engagement affect your posture and energy levels? Basically, how is it that if you have poor or weak core muscles, you have it will affect your posture and your energy levels throughout the day. Now, basically, poor core engagement, that is weak core muscles, is what I mean by that engagement, means poor posture. Now, your core muscles, if you are not familiar with it, they are the deepest layer of muscles that are sitting right next to your spine. They are the ones that provide like a scaffolding or a layer around the spine, so that the spine is stabilized. So, for example, if you look at an apple, so you see the core of the apple, so that's like your spine, and the fleshy part of the apple is the bigger muscles that you can see on people when you look at a picture of somebody's back. You can see all those big muscles, right? So the body has these bigger muscles you can see on the outside. So similarly, the flesh of the apple is what you can see on the inside, but that framework within the core of the apple, the deepest part of the apple, that is like your core muscles. Those are the ones holding on to the spine. So if this was your spine, those are the ones that provide like a scaffolding around the spine, and the bigger muscles are on top. So the bigger muscles will provide movement. For example, if I'm reaching out right now, the bigger muscles are the ones that are doing this movement. But if, say, this is my spine, which of course it's not, but if this is my spine and those core muscles are not holding on to my spine, and I do this movement, I will sway with the movement, right? So you see how those core muscles will provide me that stability to sit there while I reach out. So the same is true for every other movement. Of course, there's much more than just movement and stabilization that the core muscle does. But this is like the very simplified version of it for those of you who are curious about what is the core. So moving on, if your core muscles are meant to stabilize the spine, and thus they support you in a good posture. When they are weak or inactive, basically you cannot recruit those core muscles in the way they're supposed to be used. Then your body compensates by overworking those bigger muscles that I was talking about. So you start to get that tension around your neck, shoulder, lower back, etc. That leads to chronic pain and stiffness. When you have chronic pain and stiffness, that is because of poor posture. Of course, when you're in pain, you don't feel very energetic, right? So you are going to have lower energy levels. Now, what is a sign your core isn't supporting you? Because many people talk about core, they talk about core muscles, but how do you know that you have a poor core? You have a poor core or weak core muscles. So sometimes, if you catch yourself slouching at your desk like this, or if you are, say, rounding your shoulders forward, you have this forward head posture, yes, you do have a weak core. And we are not just talking about the core in the lumbar spine, basically the abdominals, we're talking about the full core system, which goes from your neck right down. I mean, core is those deep muscles are present everywhere, but right now we're talking about posture. So we're talking about the deeper muscles of the spine, including the neck and mid back. If your lower back feels strained after sitting or standing for long periods of time, so I'm not talking about pain, you feel that achiness, that strain in the lower back, think about core muscles. Are they actually weak? So that could point you towards that direction. Of course, there are many other reasons, but one of the main reasons for that strain in your lower back can be weak core, especially if you have recurrent back pain that keeps on. I mean, you manage your back pain, it goes away, and you do some little activity, it comes back. So that recurrent chronic kind of a back pain, that could indicate a weak core. And when you're standing, you constantly shift your weight from one side to the other instead of being staying balanced with both feet firmly planted on the floor. That is one of the signs of core weakness. Now, if you want to know more about what is the core, and you want to understand all the muscles that support your back and neck, there is a video that I've done on it. You can go to my YouTube channel. Just type in my name, Swati Prakash Core, in YouTube, and the video will come up for you. Or you can actually, I would recommend both. You can also go to a blog that I have written on this topic. The topic of the blog is how does a poor core engagement affect your posture and energy levels. So that blog has got this video embedded in it, and it also has a lot of other links in there on core, fatigue, posture, how to activate your core, which I'm going to talk about right now after this, etc. That blog also has a free checklist in there. I will just talk about it later on because it'll make more sense when I talk about it later. All right, so moving on, because we don't have the whole day. Um, Now, a weak core, how does it drain your energy? Firstly, as said, obviously, when you're in pain because of that poor alignment and poor posture, of course, you're not going to feel energetic. But what actually happens when your posture isn't aligned, your muscles have to work overtime to keep you upright, right? And this causes unnecessary fatigue in your muscles. So those muscle fibers, okay, there are two kinds of muscle fibers. One is slow twitch, and one is fast twitch. I'm not going to go into the details of that. It gets too nerdy then. But there are some muscle fibers that have the capacity to constantly keep on working. So those are more of your core muscles have more of those kind of muscle fibers, right? So they are constantly active. Whenever you are upright, you're not lying down in bed, your muscles have to work in order to keep you upright against gravity. However, your bigger muscles, they can take a break and then they can be activated when you need to. So if I'm not using, again, the example, if I'm not reaching overhead, my muscles, my bigger muscles can actually relax. Especially so because these muscles don't have the type of fibers where they constantly are in action all the time. They need that rest. Now, going back to what I was saying, when your posture isn't aligned, you're overworking those muscles that are meant to be the kind of muscle fibers that need rest in between. They cannot be on the go all the time. So when they have to be on the go all the time because they're working overtime, they get fatigued. Think about it this way: there are different kinds of people. Some people always go, go, go. Some people are like me, they need a bit of rest and me time in between. You make somebody like me work 24/7, I will get fatigued, right? If you make a person who's always go, 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 high energy, and always, that type A personality, they will not get fatigued, they will not get tired. They will probably at the end of a couple of weeks, but they will always be on the go. So if you are making somebody, the muscles that are not meant to be on the go and switched on all the time, they will get overworked, they will get fatigued. It will leave you feeling drained at the end of the day, or maybe even the middle of the day. Now, how this impacts you is standing or sitting can make you feel achy. You may be relying on caffeine or sugars for an energy boost. My previous video was on how to feel energized without that caffeine. You can have a look. Uh, Now, what can you do about it? So, one thing you can do is engage those core muscles. When, say you have a fracture, you cannot move your arm, so you have weak biceps, triceps. So, okay, let's take the example of biceps. So you have a weak biceps. What would you do? After the fracture is healed, you will go to the gym and you will train. You will start to work out, or at home you will work out to build up those muscles. However, what do you do with your core muscles? Same thing. You are going to, if you are feeling that effect of the weak core, you are going to activate your core muscles, you are going to work out those core muscles. How do you do that? Now, I cannot give you the details of all that here. So, again, I have put it into that blog that I was talking about earlier. You can think about posture resets. Again, details are in the blog. Every hour, check in with your posture. Roll your shoulders back, sit tall, engage your core. Again, find the details in that blog that I just told you about. I will leave a link in the description of this video. If you're on Instagram, the link is in my bio. You can't find it on any of the platforms, come back to me, message me, and I'll send it across to you, or just drop a comment below. So the blog that I mentioned just now also has a free checklist of 10 easy desk based exercises to strengthen your core. This is, I actually enjoyed creating this checklist because this is for busy days when you don't have time, spare time to do your exercises. This is a set of exercises that you can sit at your desk and you can do it. It's so discreet, you won't even know I'm doing it right now as I'm talking to you. Right. So if you are one of those moms who've been feeling more drained out than usual and you're dealing with those nagging aches and pains, your core or a weak core might be the missing piece that you're looking for. By improving your core strength or your core engagement, you will start to feel stronger, you may move better, and you may boost your energy levels as well. So, and it's not rocket science, it's very, very simple. Alrighty, if you have any questions, any comments on the video for today, let me know. If there are any terminologies that I use, like that core engagement, etc. I tried my best to explain it, but if there is something that you did not understand, let me know and I'll be happy to explain it. Just leave your questions in the comments below and I'll be happy to help you out. Alrighty, I hope that was useful, and it was a bit heavy, a bit nerdy, but I was trying my best to explain it to you. Let me know if you need more explanation on anything that I've said in the video. Alrighty, I'll see you guys